These are the descendants of the people who created the most diabolical system of white supremacy in human history, apartheid. They're not directly responsible for it, but it was a system that actually moved black people off of the arable land. So they inherited the land that the black people had to give up. It was called forced removal. It was something called a Bantustan policy, where they moved black people out of the cities and farmlands into these remote areas of.
Good evening, guys. Once again, welcome to South Africa Lately, a channel that discusses South African trending news. We do, however, grab here and there from international news when it is trending enough to be brought here. Please do understand that I'm not a politician. I do not have deep knowledge in politics. However, I am a South African citizen who's also a voter, and I do believe that my views count when it comes to political affairs of our beautiful country. So I am talking about America in this moment and Donald Trump, because this affects us so much. As we speak, South Africa is trending. The Afrikaners are trending because of the decision made by a group of people who are led by Donald Trump. That is a huge mess. I have never seen such a divisive president. I have to tell you the truth. I have never seen such a messy president, and we are witnessing this in real time. It's unbelievable what we are seeing. Honestly, it is unbelievable. At this stage, I also believe this is about to cause chaos where they are. You know, somebody that exports chaos to other countries and also creates chaos in his own backyard. This is unbelievable. It's like a dream or maybe a nightmare, because this is how it looks like. It's like a nightmare, and this man hasn't been up to 6 months in that office. And the saving grace, that's something that can save us from this, is the end of his term. And when you look where we are now, 4 years is a very long time. And people like this, when they leave office, they leave people who think like them. They impart the same spirit that they have to the next person, should people reconsider the Republicans to govern that country again. So America is this big country that when they create chaos, it affects so many countries. I don't understand what is going on over there. I don't. But you see, I'm about to share with you something that is very interesting. Even the church that was given the job to welcome these Afrikaners over there have decided, you know what, we are not going to be a part of this. We don't want to be a part of this. And the church has a history of assisting South Africa to come out of the apartheid era. So they've decided, you know what, you're just going to part ways. Imagine the chaos that we're creating in your own backyard. For what? For what? White supremacy? Is it worth it? Is it really worth it? Because if it is, South Africa is finished. Because in this continent that we are in, South Africa is the only country that has millions and millions of white people. And how many of those are aligned with this white supremacy thing? But I am very happy to say I have seen many white people who are South Africans that don't want to be associated with this whole chaos. White South Africans who love South Africa, who see South Africa as their home. Guys, we don't know this when it's going to end. But anyway, I just wanted to share with you what Americans say really now. Except for the video clips that I've been sharing with you, I just want to share with you the one of today about the church and in the news. And I won't be returning with more commentary, guys. So please do have a beautiful night. I just wanted to share that with you, and I highly appreciate you watching my video clips. And if time really allows me, I'll take time to respond to the comments. But if not, I'm just going to go around reacting. Please do know that I appreciate your interaction.
flight carrying 59 white Afrikaners from South Africa landed in Washington, D.C. today. The Afrikaners were the white minority group in South Africa that ruled during apartheid. The group was granted refugee status from the Trump administration, as the Trump administration has accused South Africa's government of racially discriminating against them. The South African government has denied this. This all comes as the administration as a whole has essentially halted all other refugee admissions. The Episcopal Church was ordered by the government to help resettle the Afrikaners, but today the church took a stand, terminated its relationship with the federal government, citing a moral opposition to resettling the white Afrikaners. Joining us now is the presiding bishop of the Episcopal Church, Bishop Sean Rowe. Bishop, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This was a 4 decades old relationship across many administrations that ended today. Why did the classification of these immigrants as refugees cross a moral line?
Well, the reality is we can't be ourselves in the Episcopal Church and take the step of resettling white Afrikaners from South Africa. Our church has a long commitment to racial justice and reconciliation, and we have historic ties with the Anglican Church of South Africa. Desmond Tutu is a part of been a partner in this work for us. So we're just not able to take this step. It's not in line with anything that we're about, and it also saddens us to see that other refugees who are being denied entrance to the United States are people, brave people who've worked alongside of our military in Iraq and Afghanistan, now face danger, have been in camps for a long time and aren't being allowed in. And so this is just, the program no longer aligns with where we are as a church and what we're about.
Trump has virtually halted refugee admission in America for people fleeing war and famine in places like Sudan and the Democratic Republic of Congo. Back with Rick, Mark, and Eddie. Rick Stengel.
Yes, it's so deeply and morally wrong-headed and repulsive. These are the descendants of the people who created the most diabolical system of white supremacy in human history, apartheid. They're not directly responsible for it, but it was a system that actually moved black people off of the arable land. So they inherited the land that the black people had to give up. It was called forced removal. It was something called a Bantustan policy, where they moved black people out of the cities and farmlands into these remote areas with non-arable land. I mean, it was just one of the most worst processes ever. But what has happened in this strange, bizarre world we're living in is that the Afrikaners have become the darling of these right-wing, white supremacist movements around the world. That it's like the lost cause for them. It's like the old Confederacy. They're held up as these white Christians who are being dispossessed of their land. It's like this is a modern replacement theory in a country where, by the way, white people make up 7% of the population and own 78% of the farmland. So it's actually, there's no injustice here. As you mentioned, it's taking places away from refugees who are really being crushed by authoritarian governments and military governments for these folks who have never had anything happen to them. I mean, Trump amazingly called it a genocide, one of the worst lies I've ever heard him say. There's just been a small handful of farmers that have been killed over the past 10 years. No land has actually been expropriated. So it's just a farce and a sham and a moral ugliness.
What happens now that he's taken this step?
I don't know. I mean, it's like a Batman movie or something where all the bad guys get collected under one roof. I mean, like, who else do you now go and find other racists who have repressed people and give them refugee status here? It's just, I don't know where it goes from here. But I mean, you even said it. It's like a headline from The Onion. I don't even know how to get more extreme than this.
You know, I think it's important for us to understand that the Trump administration is a lot of things. But one thing it certainly is a white nationalist project. And oftentimes we don't want to describe it as such. I'm not reducing it to it, because there's greed, there's graft, there's all sorts of things happening around it. But we need to understand the way in which great replacement theory is driving this. There's a sense in which the immigration policy is all about demographic shifts. There's a sense around the assault on voting rights and civil rights. It's all about who will have the decision-making power to determine who will run the country. And here, This idea that the republic must remain a white nation is evidenced in this move, which is so explicit that it cannot be denied. And so when we don't describe it for what it is, we become, in an ironic way, complicit in what they're doing. It's a white nationalist agenda, it seems to me.
You know what I'm going to ask you? Where are the Democratic voices offering a different message to the world about who America is today, right now, as this is happening?
Look, I think you showed Chris Murphy. I think he's one of the people speaking out. And I think that Democrats are speaking out. I think the problem is that just in the time that we've been here, we have talked about Donald Trump accepting a $400 million aircraft from a royal family. We have talked about this instance of white nationalism, which I completely agree. I mean, if Donald Trump just didn't want immigrants, you'd have all of the terribleness we have. But it actually turns out he does want some immigrants. He wants the white Christians from South Africa to be immigrants to this country. You began, when we first sat down, talking about the rationing of pencils. Right? A world in which the 11-year-old girl has a quota on the number of pencils she can have.
Yes.
All of these are of a part. They are all of Donald Trump, who wants to be a strongman. He wants to be a dictator. He wants to be able to dictate how he flies, how he lives, who he associates with. He likes associating. I think he likes the idea he got a plane from a royal family. I don't think he would have taken the plane if it had come from like Sweden or Switzerland. I think he liked the idea that it came from, a regime in the Middle East that is run by a royal family. And against that backdrop, you have Democrats trying to fight each of these fires when really what it is just one big blaze. And I think we need to understand that there is, as Eddie said, a through line that connects all of these things together.
Thank you guys for connecting all of these things together and for being here with me, Rick, Mark.